would not have done if he had been there. He's a bigger guy with, again, an explosive anger. I think he would have gone over there and cleaned their clocks. So,
it makes you, I know the feeling. You do want to clean their clocks, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, no, they did a bit of vandalism to the outside, but nothing like what they did once he left.
And how are things now that you're living with your mother?
It's pretty good. I mean, it's challenging. You know, we're in a difficult economy. I make just barely enough to get by, but I am getting by. My mother it's wonderful having my mother here. Absolutely wonderful. And I'll be completely lost if anything were to happen to her. But, no, it's been wonderful. It's a sense of family, a sense of support, someone to come home to. I don't worry about who's been in my house because my mom rarely leaves. So it has made life has improved tremendously. And if there are other victims living or listening, I would urge them to move in with family and friends, people that will be supportive, and if not supportive, at least just live with them and help keep an open ear and an open eye. So I don't think with what we're going through, it's a good thing to live alone. I think we need to live with other people.
That's very sad because, there's a lot of independent people out there. I'm a very independent person, and I really like having my own apartment and come home and do what I want. And now I'm living with my sister, which is very nice, and but it's a change of life. It's a big change.
It is. But, as you mentioned, your situation has improved, and could part of that be attributed to the fact that there's another person there? I don't know, but I know my life has improved since moving in with my mother. So I definitely have to say it was a good thing. I'm very glad to have someone here.
Well, it's very nice because as my girlfriend told me the other day, a friend of mine, she said, Gina, you're with people who care. Mm-hmm. Your brother's not too far away. Your sister's right there. Your sister's boyfriend is across the way. And everybody cares about you. You're with people who care. I'm not far away either. And it's very nice because my brother's coming over Saturday. When I lived in Chicago, we couldn't see each other as much. I'd have to take a train out, or rent a car for a holiday. So now we can see each other, and it's very nice to see them.
Yes, yes, it is, yeah.
And they do understand. They do understand now, so that's been very helpful.
Oh, that would be awesome. Would that be awesome? The one thing I long to hear from my family is, Lisa, we had no idea what you were going through. Instead of, Lisa, what is wrong with you? When are you going to get it together? You know what I mean?
Well, it takes time, but they will. And as this comes out more and more,
yes,
they will. Change because they'll see it. It's coming out too much. There's just too much of it to ignore.
But, even people who are knowledgeable in this, I spoke to one man. I can't remember what his name was. I think it was Jim. Anyway, it was recommended that I contact him. And I remember him grilling me about, are you such an important person that somebody would want to attack you? Are you such a great leader of mankind that you would be a target of this? And I thought, no, you ass. That's the whole point. I'm nobody. I'm nobody important. That's why they can get away with this. If I were someone important, it'd be in all the papers, Well, that's it. I'm not.
You don't have to be important. You can be the girl next door. And today, from what I hear, children are being targeted, 6-year-old infants. No. I've had pictures of infants burned. National Care Society has a wonderful website on organized stalking, and there are pictures there of victims, of children, of animals who have been burned. This is an excellent source of information. National Care Society was developed by, I believe, Elizabeth Adams, and she put together a very nice website. Very nice, very detailed, very informative.
Yeah, I do really appreciate Peter Mooring. I don't know, do you know who Peter is?
I don't think so.
He's in Holland or the Netherlands, I believe, and he was one of the earlier victims of this, and he has a website, and he's written quite a bit about it. He has a blog or a website, whatever you call it, and I was emailing him. I was talking to him a little bit because I didn't realize there were people closer by that had this. I thought it was like 1 in 10 million or something that was dealing with this, or that this was unique to me. It wasn't until I got on the internet, realized other people were doing it, and he was one that was out there. He had his name out there. He had his email out there.
I may have come across his name. I may have.
Yeah, Peter Mooring. And then there are people, thank goodness for people who have been willing to put their names and their phone numbers on the internet on this topic, because I've phoned them. Any phone number I found on the internet, I would call them and talk to them. It was a great source of comfort. So,
Peter Mooring, are you still in touch with him, and how long has he been a victim?
I couldn't say. I don't know if it's been, 6, 7 years, 10 years. I'd have to go back and reread his information, but I think he's been dealing with this for quite some time. Matter of fact, he's the one that told me to use hot water bottles to help protect myself.
I may look him up and contact him.
Yeah, he told me he's put metal cupboards in his house because metal, and then he says they get over there, I guess they get their milk in a bag, and or if it's in a can or whatever it was, but he would store that up in the cupboards, creating a wonderful barrier that, they really couldn't get through. He says they do have the ability, though, to turn up the level of power.
Yeah, they do.
And so he says he's noticed that they have, for him, they have turned up considerably the level of power. He also advised me to stay outside as much as possible. He said get involved in sports, spend a lot of time outdoors, and he has been correct. Outside is a great...
Well, I found out why, because it expends the energy that they've built up in you, the magnetics. So if you run, you're expending energy, and they don't want you to get rid of that energy that's, you're sweating, you're getting rid of it. And that's what I was told. And that's why they don't want you running on a treadmill. Outside, you're breathing fresh air. You're not in your place where they've built up these magnetics in the air. Very interesting. If you look on the internet, there's so many different aspects of the weaponry. I actually leave the window open all day, a crack, when my sister's here, because I want it totally aired out when I come home. Mm-hmm. If they've been focusing a weapon and building up magnetics that are going to hit me when I come home, I want it dissipated. I'm willing to go to any extreme or any measure I have to make them work to get to me. You want to get to me, you work. You work until you can't work anymore, because I'm not going to make it easy for you.
Right, exactly. And one night, I shouldn't say one night, several nights, when I was in Florida, I slept outside in mosquito netting. Literally slept outside in mosquito netting. Mm-hmm. And but that was, like you say, you have to do what you have to do to sleep.
You do, because you get very little of it. Now that I'm at my sister's and I've moved things around and I've done things a little differently, I'm not getting zapped anymore. But and I am sleeping through the night, but they talk all night long. So they must have some way to still project the sound in here, because I did remove the microwave. We are a microwave-free home. They must have a radio receiver somewhere in the area. Or maybe, sometimes it sounds like it's in my closet, but they have the ability to project sound in towards different things. And they're hoping you'll think something is on that, so you'll get rid of it and throw it out in the garbage, and here they'll come and pick it up. Well, I don't do that. But the voices are less and less all the time. So I'm doing something right, and I'm getting some sleep.
Good. Well, you're going to have to start conducting some seminars so that the rest of us know exactly what to do to get these people out of our lives or off our backs.
But it's very difficult because they don't go away, and I don't believe they're going to go away. Like I said, I think they're Satan's foot soldiers, and they're trying to overtake us. And I just think we have to stay strong in our faith and in our friends and our families and in our beliefs and how we were raised, and beat them, because I'm not going to give in to Satanists, devil worshippers, cult people, or anybody else who didn't feel they fit into society and now they're angry or whatever their problem is. Right. So I think the best way to get them off our backs is to stay strong, because they're not going to burn me out. And it sounds like they're not.